Hello onions. As you can probably hear, it's another beautiful sunny day here. So we're stuck in the shed listening to the rain, and since I can't get out to play with anything fun, I thought I'll do a micro review on a Draper inspection lamp, the one that's illuminating my lovely fizzer even as we speak. It is the... oh, I have to look this up on my phone. Hang on a sec. It's the Draper 98342 7-watt Slimline Cob LED inspection lamp. Remember that now. And it costs currently about 48 quid on a certain South American river shopping site. So let's get the oil lamp, which is up there, lit, and the camping lamp, which is over there, lit, and then I will be able to show you the torch without having to use it to illuminate this thing. Okay, bear with me. Okay, here's the torch in question. I'll start with the good points and then I'll tell you the really crap bad point about this torch. So for a start, it's quite chunky. It feels well made and it's got nice positive action with click stops for the swiveling head, and in a rarity for these kind of gadgets, it's actually got some decent magnets. Here's a, not sure what weight it is, but here's a lump hammer anyway, which is a pretty solid piece of metal. And as you can see, the torch has no problem picking that up whatsoever. And that is actually, if anybody's had a few of these kind of torches in their time, you'll know that one of the really annoying things is they have crap magnets generally. You're under the car, you're trying to do some work, you get it all angled nicely, and then you fart and the thing falls off the chassis. So it is really good that this has really strong magnets on it. 1 plus point, 2 plus points for good construction, 3 plus points for, as I say, the head. It's got a kind of positive click lock as you open it, so it's going to stay where you put it. Okay, and it also swivels right the way around, well, 180 degrees round, so you can point it in other directions. As you saw at the start, when it illuminated my beautiful fizzer, it's really bright as well. I might film another insert later and drop it in here, showing how bright it can be in a proper dark room. Okay, as promised, here I am risking life and limb in a collapsing old outbuilding, so I can show you how bright this torch is. So here we go. And as you can see, it's pretty much lighting up the whole of the inside of this crusty old building. And if you consider that most of the time you'd be using this in much closer quarters, like a car engine bay or working under a sink or wherever grown men have the need for an inspection lamp, it is very bright. So that's a good point. I'll just put the bar light on as well and see. That's more of a diffuse beam, and that is full brightness, which is actually not bad at all. It's less focused obviously than the beam on the pointy end. Whatever you'd call that, the LED spot, maybe I'll call it that. So this gives you a more diffuse beam for lighting up a room, and I put the dimmer on. That's it on full dimness. It does actually seem to go dim and then slightly brighter again as you turn it on. So it's all good so far. Oh, USB-C charger, which I will come back to later. should say USB-C charging. Now, there's one thing about this torch which completely ruins it for me, and that is, the big problem with this is the on-off switch itself. Hold it in for a second and it comes on, which is okay in theory, except that this turns on all the time. It's probably brilliant if you've got a workshop where you keep this on a shelf and you take it down, you turn it on, you work with it, you put it back, you turn it off. But if you're the kind of person, like I am, who has to work wherever you've got a bit of space, or who carries this about in your pocket or in a toolbox, it just turns on all the time. All it needs is something to rest against that for a second and it's turned on. And honestly, the first time it happened, I thought, I see it's on now. I'll mention this fact as well in a bit. The first time it happened, I thought, oh, that's bad luck. I must have put it away, turned on, or something's pressed against it. It's actually happened so many times since that it's actually a bonus now when I get it out of my tool bag or out of my pocket and find it hasn't turned on. In fact, just preparatory to shooting this bit of video, I put it in my jacket pocket in the house, walked to my shed, and when I came into the shed I thought, where's that light coming from? And it was coming from my pocket because this had turned on yet again. Honestly, I have run it down more times than I've got to use it, just because this switch is so easy to turn on. I mean, if you imagine that in a pocket or a tool bag, something's going to press against that, and it's not like it has to press for a long time. It's a second if that, and it's on, and it doesn't turn off again until the batteries run down. Which brings me on to USB-C charging. Brilliant. USB-C charges quicker than USB, or micro USB I should say. It takes an age to charge this. When it's flat, which it will be because it's turned on in your pocket or your bag, it takes at least a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours or more to charge up. I've tried putting it on a fast charger and it doesn't charge at all. So there's no smarts in here that will negotiate a quicker charge from a fast charger. It's just standard USB-C and it takes hours to charge up. Now, you can imagine that you're going to do a job on the car or in a shed, for example, and it's dark and you need your torch, and you bring this out and you find the bloody thing's gone flat because it's been turned on in your bag or your pocket again. So whatever you plan to do, especially at this time of year, you basically cancel it because it's going to take so long to charge up again that it will have gone dark by then. So really piss poor design this. I don't work for Draper, but I'll give them this for free, right? Here's some ways you could fix this problem. One, if you're going for a rotary switch for the dimmer, make it a click on off rotary switch as well. So it's off, click, it's on, and then use it to adjust the brightness like a volume button. That could still get accidentally turned on in a bag or a pocket, but it's much less likely that something is going to press on this and rotate it round than it is something's going to press on it and just knock it on like that. Another one that you can have for free would be a separate on-off switch, so a proper slidey on-off switch. Click it on, do the dimmer. So personally I think the dimmer switch is just completely unnecessary, but I don't use the bar light, so maybe there is a reason for having that, the ability to dim that very slightly. I don't know. Another possibility could be some kind of sliding cover on this that would slide up over, if you want to keep this design switch, some kind of sliding cover that you pull back, spring loaded would be good, and you press the button and then and it covers up again. But I think the most sensible thing to do would be, let me just turn it on, is if when I close the torch it should turn off. Why is it still on when it's closed? There's no reason for that to be turned on when it's in that position. The only slight justification for that would be if you had it in bar light mode and you wanted to kind of have it like that, but even then it doesn't close flat in bar light mode. So put some electronics in that when I snap that closed it turns off, and also make it so that when it's closed it won't turn on. Simple. Why would you want it turned on when it's like that? The only reason for that turning on is to run the battery down and piss people off. Apologies for the dodgy jumpy editing, because I put the camera away and then I remembered there was something else I wanted to show you. So that's why everything's probably not lined up the same. Here's a Petzl head torch that I used to use for working on the car as well. And feature on this that's quite nice, it swivels in the way to protect the glass or the plastic, and it's got an on-off switch that turns, a proper one, not a press-in one, and you can't turn it on when it's turned in the way. It actually physically locks the switch. And if I turn this out and turn it on, see, it's got a, what the Draper torch could have, clicky on and then brightness or dimness. Is that a word? Dimness? Yes, of course it's a word. And the other nice feature about this, and what I was saying the Draper wants you to do, if I, sorry for dazzling you, if I turn this in the way, it turns itself off. So you can't turn it on when it's turned in, and if you forget to turn it off and flip it in the way, it turns itself off, which is exactly what I'm saying this Draper should do. There's no way that torch should turn itself on or stay on when it's folded closed like that. And it's not a crazy, oh, how would they manage that notion, because this Petzl torch, it's exactly what it does. It won't turn on when it's closed, and if you close it with it still on, it'll turn itself off. Simple, logical. Not simple, illogical. Right, that should do for the indoor stuff. I'm going to stick my camera in my pocket so it doesn't get drowned and run down to the barn, and we'll film an insert showing how bright this torch is, which, depending on how I edit this, you may have already seen. But that's what I'm doing now. So catch you later.